I'm here with my friend, who you may know if you actually bothered to watch. You probably didn't. My Nothing Left to Lose rewrite. She sung Cassandra. You were very important for my self-esteem. Plus, it was a lot of fun. And anyway, today you're important because we're going to talk about Queen Arianna from Tangled the series. Arianna? I'm not going to call her Arianna because I can't do that. You to call her whatever you want.
Okay.
I'm calling her Arianna probably, or just the Queen, or Mrs. Purple. Who knows? Honestly, the amount of nicknames that I give to characters in this show, yeah, I bully the characters way too much.
That's because we've watched it for so long and so much that we view them as friends.
Yes, meet my friends, Ugly Baby, Princess with Lemon Hair. I don't call her that, but she has lemon hair.
Lemonhead is one of her actually used nicknames.
Oh, that's funny. Well, I don't. No, wait. I do have a nickname for Rapunzel because I call her Cabbage.
Oh yeah.
Because she is Cabbage. That's her name.
Rapunzel the breeded cabbage. Go read the Go find out about the first version of the legend.
Yes, in the original story, Rapunzel is named Rapunzel because the woman's cabbage was stolen by some peasants. Anyway, speaking of the peasants who were Rapunzel's parents, in this universe, her parents are the king and queen, and the queen especially is not quite a character. When I look at her, she's not consistently written. She sometimes doesn't do anything, like an object rather than a person. So today we're going to go over a bunch of talking points that I've thought of, basically just a chronology of Queen Arianna's moments in the series. Because it's something I feel like is worth talking about, considering the show's really obviously trying to be feminist, but is messing up on how to do that with almost all of its characters.
Cassandra being like a villain with absolutely no motivation, just seen as an angry, whining child.
And even Rapunzel herself, but we can get to that in a different video, because Rapunzel is the main character. So there's a lot of things that we could talk about with her. But today,
unfortunately,
the focus is Queen Arianna. So I think the best place to start, because I'm not looking at Before Ever After, because I don't want to have to rewatch that often. I'm going to start with season 1, or at least early season 1. This is all the stuff up to and not including The Way of the Willow, I think it's called. So in season 1, Arianna is like a kind of... she's a background character / side character. She's not really that involved in the plot, but she is at least shown as a nice mum. She's, kind of new to parenting, despite the fact her child is 18 years old. But that's not exactly her fault, is it? Anyway, she's nice about Rapunzel in the situation with King Fred during episode 1, because she's like, she tells him something, that's a bad discussion with your daughter, maybe you shouldn't be so harsh on her, don't use the law to keep her in the kingdom. That's a bit weird, bro. Call the king bro. I've called him worse. And then in another episode, when Eugene returns a ring that he stole from her years ago, which, by the way, in that scene she attacks him with a handbag or something and knocks him out, so that's fun. But the Queen forgives him and doesn't tell the king about Eugene stealing the ring, because she knows that the king would kill Eugene for that, because, we love a healthy system of justice in Corona. And then in Queen for a Day, she stands up for Rapunzel's independence during... it was not really standing up for, because the king just goes, yes, but I should still be worried about you, Rapunzel. And the Queen goes, come on, we're going to be gone for 2 days. Which is nice. It's wrong because of everything going wrong in that episode, but it's nice to know that she cares.
I want to point out at some point the beginning of Tours of Something and her giving the journal to Rapunzel, and
oh yeah, the
it
journal.
was Before Ever After, but I can remember that. We don't need quotes or something. This isn't English analysis.
Yeah, we're not quoting the show. I don't know if it can hear
something. That's weird, bro.
That's weird, bro. Yes. So the journal then. Queen Arianna gives her this journal to write in, and it's got something about her adventures when she was a child. Like,
teenager.
When she was a teenager, then.
Hopefully, because I didn't want them to be, out and about as children, saving burning villages that are war-torn.
It's about accurate for this show, though.
Yeah. When she gives it to Rapunzel, we have the time where it happens in Before Ever After. And we have the time where it happens in Rapunzeltopia.
Oh yeah, from season 2.
Yeah. So in Rapunzeltopia, I think she gives it to her with a different quote in it and with it blank. In Before Ever After, it's blank. It's not blanked. But whenever Rapunzel flips through it, it has nothing about whatever happened with the Queen in it.
Actually, that's the point. Yeah, the first page, because she flips back to it quite often. The first page is of her dad keeping her inside the country by law. Except for the fact that we're told that it's got stories about Queen Arianna's childhood. So I guess her child is just being erased anyway by the whole show, which is pretty symbolic of how her character goes, isn't it?
Willow, who's given one episode, a mention in the beginning of the three-parter, and isn't even coloured in as Rapunzel's family in the drawing.
That drawing at the end is so cruel, because apparently Varian's not a friend, and Lance's family, but Rapunzel's aunt isn't family. It's so messed up. Anyway, the season 3 is messed up in general. I think we should get back on track to season 1. Arianna's kind of a background mother, which is kind of strange because of how in the focus King Frederick is in season 1 at least. Because a lot of the time he's basically the antagonist of the show. He keeps Rapunzel restrained a lot, which is traumatic for her, considering the show and the film and everything. And the Queen doesn't do much, to be honest. She's just kind of like, oh yeah, I remember her, she wears purple. That's probably what's written in her character profile, is she wears purple, has a crown sometimes. Weirdly enough, there's no ever mention of the time she was ill. Which is funny, because I would be thinking, hey, wasn't she terminally ill or had complications in childbirth? Does that affect her life? Does she ever think back on that time? Because births like that can be pretty traumatising as well. And the fact that the child was stolen after her, it's got to be pretty, mentally taxing. But
worst birth ever.
Yes, it's pretty bad. People do suffer, like, depression and stuff after this kind of stuff. But weirdly, it's never mentioned, which is a theme in this show. Character goes through unspeakable horrors and traumatic events, big problem-juiced times, and it's never brought up again. They don't have PTSD.
And it usually includes kidnapping.
It does often include kidnapping.
Aaron was turned out, the Queen was turned out, Rapunzel was turned out.
Everyone was kidnapped. The Queen should have some kind of mental disturbances from this, and yet she doesn't. So I guess she's not enough of a person to have mental strain. Or maybe it's we can't show women having weaknesses. It's not a weakness if you emotionally react to situations. And we should probably be teaching kids this. It's a kids show, yes, so please portray the emotional spectrum a little bit more realistically, accurately, somewhere.
Somewhere at all.
Please put it in. The Queen's allowed to be, like, upset by the time she was incredibly ill, nearly died, lost her daughter and all that stuff, but all we see is the King's reaction to it. Bit odd. Okay, why is it his villain motivation? Okay. But at least the Queen does understand that the King is a bit of a villain. I'm not entirely sure why she likes him. Maybe she's being forced to stay there for, like, the sake of the kingdom or something. But
the sake of the kingdom. Maybe she's being forced to stay there because if she marries anyone else, Rapunzel will get angry and kill them.
Yeah, Rapunzel giving head trauma to anyone who tries to be nice to the Queen. Is she not allowed to see anyone? Does she have no friends? I've never seen her anywhere but the castle, except for that time Varian took her on a tea party.
Speaking of that time Varian took her on a tea party.
No, that comes later. We're not getting there yet.
Okay.
We're not getting there yet. We're doing this kind of in order, I hope. The time where she forgives Eugene for stealing from her all those years ago. That's a nice episode for Queen Arianna, because it shows not only does she actually stand up for herself when she's getting mugged, which is pretty brave, to be honest. And also weird that she doesn't have any royal guards, but she's taken the situation into her own hands. But she also understands that Frederick is dangerous to other people that are below him in power. So when she forgives Eugene, she doesn't tell Fred about the ring being stolen by Eugene. So that's a nice thing. That's a good character moment. It's a shame that she isn't a character for the rest of the show. I'm going to quickly lob in that thing from Queen for a Day in this section because it's more consistent with her early season 1 than with her later season 1. And the turning point is kind of before Queen for a Day. I'm just going to switch up how we're talking about it, but that's fine because Disney switches up episode orders anyway. So in Queen for a Day, when she's like trusting Rapunzel's independence and ability to act as ruler, that's quite nice of her. Not much else I can say, but it's nice that she is actually defending her in front of Fred, even if it's a small moment.
Still nice of her though.
Nice.
Well done. Well done of attempting to be a good character while you're a character. If a given consciousness, what would you like to do?
You win the You're Decent award, Queen Arianna. At least for the first half of season 1. And then we have The Way of the Willow, I think it's called, which is a Queen Arianna main character episode. And I love these other characters and main character episodes because I get really tired of Rapunzel's perspective on all the events. It's a little bit like in Be Very Afraid where Varian's the main character. I like these shifts, they're fun. So in this episode, Queen Arianna has a sister and she reveals some stuff about what she was like when she was younger. They're adventurous, they're exciting, they do stuff. And then you wonder, what the hell happened for you to marry Frederick the Eggman? You can see Queen Arianna's being like the victim of everyone else, ignoring her in this situation. And I would say, right, that's really sad on her part, and it is, because they basically go, let's go see this shooting star shower with you, Mum. And then she goes, yes, let's. And then her sister goes, hey, do you remember how stupid you are? And the Queen's like, I'd like to just see the shooting stars, please. It is my birthday, and I don't get let out of the house very often. And then Rapunzel and the Queen's sister go off and see the shooting stars, and don't go and get...
her name.
Yeah, I haven't. Willow and Rapunzel go to see the shooting stars, and they don't come back and get her. Rapunzel's like, maybe I should get my mum. That's a pretty star. Wow.
You're a horrible person, Rapunzel.
And the Queen goes, oh, I've been replaced and no one cares about me. It is incredibly sad, and Rapunzel's not very nice for doing this, and Willow's even worse for doing this. But also, I wish the Queen was a bit more of a character, so that I felt a bit more in this. Just pull at my heartstrings, show, come on, make Queen Arianna care about the fact that she's literally never outside of her own house in this show. Is that something I should worry about?
She loved adventure as a kid, and then she married this person. Maybe it was for wealth, or that her family had some control or something.
I bet it was for political reunions.
She married this person, and then she was never let out of the house ever. She had all these adventures, and I wonder why that changed.
I'm starting to think Varian's like portrayed as the good guy in Secret of the Sundrop for kidnapping her, because at least she leaves the castle. Hey, come on an adventure with me to Old Corona. Is it dangerous? Yeah, it is. Sounds like fun.